The House floor erupting during an unprecedented, combative and rowdy State of the Union address last night.
Some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. Some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see.
Well, the Republicans clearly didn't like that. Kellyanne Conway is a Fox News contributor and former counselor to President Trump. You know, Kellyanne, throughout the night, Biden pushed this message of unity. And, you know, but whenever he makes references like MAGA extremists, all that does is divide us right down the middle. What do you think?
Oh, there's no question. And you can talk unity all you want. In fact, the Democrats are for unanimity. 0 of them voted against the Inflation Reduction Act. 0 of them voted for Amy Coney Barrett. 0 of them voted for the Trump-Pence Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. And all of them pretty much supported Joe Biden last night, even at moments like that when he is boldly lying to the American people. Joe Biden's poll numbers on the ability to unify the country are down 16 points from the day he was inaugurated and promised to unify the country. He's not seen as a compelling, persuasive, or unifying, cohesive leader. And moments like that, when you're the President of the United States and you have the State of the Union, you literally have the command of the room, command of the cameras. You have the country and the world to yourself. Nobody can interrupt. Nobody can editorialize for those 90 minutes. You blow it when you engage and enrage the audience thusly, as you just showed. And, of course, he's been fact-checked 6 ways to Sunday on both Social Security and Medicare. That's a big lie. His other lies were, and, you know, it's laughable for him to say we need oil and gas for the next 10 years. He's the guy who on day one killed the Keystone pipelines out of spite. Basically, Trump did it, I'll undo it. Those innocent people, their biggest sin was having a job or a promised job on the Keystone pipelines. So Joe Biden, I mean, bottom line, I'm a pollster. This is what I do for a living. He went into last night's speech the way he'll come out of last night's speech. A very damaged leader of the free world whose presidency is a man-made disaster. Many of the complaints he was making last night have happened because of his policies, his action, and his inaction. The Democrats are openly saying they don't want him to run. And the public has lost faith in his competence, in his energy, in his mental fitness, and in, to go back to the original point, his ability to unify a very divided country.
You mentioned 2024. Well, the president reiterated this message throughout last night. Listen.
We've been sent here to finish the job. Let's finish the job this time. Let's finish the job. But there's so much more to do. We're not finished yet by any stretch of the imagination. But let's finish the job.
I didn't hear finish the job and think the next 2 years. I heard next 6 years. But, Kellyanne, a new poll reveals 78% of Americans don't want President Biden to seek re-election in 2024, compared to just 22% who say they would. You're the best pollster out there. Does Joe Biden finish the job?
Well, let's see if he finishes his term, meaning if and he gets to go for another one, if the Democrats party will have him. I think it's pretty difficult to dislodge a sitting president as your presidential nominee. They've tried it before, and all they've really done is damaged the sitting president. Ted Kennedy with Jimmy Carter in 1980, obviously Ross Perot with George Herbert Walker Bush in 1992, giving us the Bill Clinton two-term presidency, even though Clinton only got barely 44% of the vote in his first election. So I can see a third-party challenge coming from the left. The Democrats made 2 big mistakes recently that have bolstered Joe Biden against these headwinds in the polls. Number one was pretending he had a great midterm election, only because he was sidelined. Joe Biden wasn't allowed to campaign for Democratic candidates. They didn't want him and Kamala Harris anywhere near them. So of course you have a good you can claim credit for something that you had nothing to do with. Number two, nights like last night, where they're swooning and drooling all over his so-called performance, they're bolstering his chances of remaining the nominee in 2024. I believe he's got the best chance of being the nominee in 2024, but when he says finish the job, it's basically the Trump message going into 2024 also, which is I didn't get to finish the job I set out to do. Put me there and I'll come back. Also, many Americans are waiting for Joe Biden, and particularly Kamala Harris, not to finish the job, but to start the job on so many key issues. The public says inflation is out of control. Crime is rising at an all-time high. They're upset that Putin's in Ukraine. They're upset that millions and millions of people are coming over our southern border with impunity. They're upset that fentanyl is the #1 killer of 18 to 44-year-olds. They're upset that they are sitting down and trying to make ends meet with the family budget, and Washington spends money like there's no tomorrow. So Joe Biden has a lot to answer for when he doesn't have the stage to himself for 90 minutes.
Kellyanne Conway, I know it was a long night for you, a long night for a lot of people, but we really, truly appreciate you getting up with us, giving us your insight on what is sure to be another wild next 2 years in the world of politics. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kellyanne.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.